In the series we bring you tonight, after a pair of races in the books, the two-time and defending champ Kyle Clenworth is the points leader, but keeping Clendy honest is Clegg Forsythe. Both have visited victory lane this season. Mason Mitchell has earned both poles, but has little to show for it. Sum up the intervals for podium finishes in both races, and you get 22 hundredths of a second. Can't get much tighter than that. Two races, two different winners. Will it be a third winner tonight? Can Mitchell win his third straight pole? Will the whisker close finishes continue? To find out, pull the lever on the lazy boy and settle in for the excitement that is simulated Dallara IR18s on a mile and a quarter oval, streaming cyberspace into your place from the Worldwide Technology Raceway. It's the Virtual Network's third round coverage of the ISRA Sim Gaming Expo Open Wheel Series Season 3. A warm gateway to the West. Hello and welcome on this Wednesday, January 28th, 2026. Jeremy Gridlock Scott joins yours truly, Bill Soupson. Hi, from the VGM press box to bring your words eye view. Turn the knobs and pushing the sliders. The boss man, Lowell Jewel Jeremy. Two races, two different winners, both winning margins so very tight. Can these boys deliver similar results here tonight for a third time?
I don't know if they're going to be able to run as close as they were last time out. If you've watched any of the races from, I'm going to call it Gateway throughout the night. So, Gateway, Worldwide Technology Raceway, you're going to see more of elbows out racing. And this is what Indy cars are going to be great at. I'm really excited to see what happens here at Worldwide Technology Raceway, 150 laps to bring it all home. And I actually think we're going to see some more cautions than we've seen the past couple of races. I think we're up to what, three cautions in two races. So, now the drivers really have to put on their thinking caps and make it through a whole race without having to worry too much about drafting.
There you go. You can see the rule package there that we'll be doing tonight. Let's take a quick look at the points. With two races in today, we have something to talk about. A first and a second is 5 points better than a first and a third, hence the gap between Kyle Clenworth and Craig Forsythe. My late mom's favorite IndyCar driver, Richie Hearn, has posted a fifth and a sixth. After a 12th to open the season, well, Christopher bounced back with a bridesmaid performance in Vegas. Freshman Alex Guillon is the highest driver in the points yet to not lead a lap. Hopefully, you get a lap out front here pretty soon. Nobody leads more laps in the season opener than lucky Ryan O'Donoghue. He did not find the front in Vegas. It's a Gretzky for Hugo Gallas, having finished ninth in both of his two tries. Starting on the pole for both races this season has been Mason Mitchell. Hey, David Thoreau, one of six drivers yet to collect an incident point. Lewis Purple Hayes hunting his first single digit result. And in an example of drive for show, putt for dough, leading more than half the laps raced this season is worthy only of a ninth place tie in the points for Matt Taylor. All right, there you have it. Should be a good one.
I'm
Glad
excited
you
to
were
see what
with us there.
happens. I was gonna say, yeah, I'm excited to see what happens. I'm watching qualifying right now. Couple of surprises in the field. We'll take a look at the grid here in about 30 seconds or more. But either way, it's going to be a very interesting fight for 150 laps here on the Illinois side of the bank. A little fun fact about Gateway, I should say, Worldwide Technology Raceway. This isn't the first iteration on this property. Soup, did you know that there was actually a road course on this property before they tore it down and made an oval?
Did not know that.
So, yeah, it's kind of fun. SCCA, the regional racing series, I think they did some SCCA pro racing here as well back in the 70s or 80s. Names like Dorsey Schrader actually cut their teeth here. So, lot of racing history here. Of course, behind the grandstands, you do have the drag strip, which hosts the NHRA Midwest Nationals every year.
Talking to our director today, Lowell Jewell. His side gig is he is a truck driver, and he says he had stopped many times to sleep outside of this racetrack. Tried to sleep one time when they were drag racing. He did not have a good night's sleep. All right. With that story out of the way, let's go ahead and set the grid for you. You know, we talked about him leading so many laps. Well, he's going to lead the pace lap. We're talking about Matt Taylor. He's your pole sitter today. He's going to be flanked by Gary Laverne.
Richie Hearn will start third alongside Matt Wagner in row 2.
Points leader second in points, Craig Forsyth will be starting in 5th. Series organizer Mike Rigney outside of him.
Take a look at row 4. Chris Stouffer with a decent starting position. He'll be alongside Logan Spath.
Frenchman Alex Guillaume will be starting in 9th with Brian It's Not Easy being Greenlee in 10th.
Well, if you look at 11th, I talked to our friend and colleague here at VGN. He said this isn't one of my better tracks, but it's an 11th place start for DJ Clark. And your points leader, Kyle Clenworth, is alongside. That's one of the surprises.
Oh, it's green clovers, pink hearts, orange stars, and yellow moons for Lucky Ryan O'Donoghue. As he starts in the Baker's dozen spot, he's got Chris Reagan outside of him.
Matthias Marcomini is back after missing last week. He'll be alongside Hugo Gala as he tries to finish somewhere around outside of 9th.
And the final driver, Lewis Purple Hayes, in the 19th position. Small field tonight.
Of course, we're going into an off week, so drivers just getting ready. Of course, what I find interesting, Soup, this is one of the rare series that does not have a drop week.
Oh, love those series without a drop week. They do have a week off, though, so what you need to do if your sister's going to get married, make sure she checks the schedule and does it on the week. We race 3 and we're off 1, I believe is how they do it. Your points leader, Clendy, number 32, Kyle Clenworth, way down in 12th. Pace car is in. We're going to get round 3 going. You know what to do. Gather at the chickens, take cover on the cows, because the horses are out of the barn. And indeed, it is the man who has led so many of these laps. Matt Taylor out in front. Battle for second, a little be fine. Richie Hearn in second. Really slow getting past through the middle. Losing a ton of spots is Gary Laverne.
I'll tell you what, he's lucky that nobody hit him as Guillaume goes to the outside. And this high line's working pretty nicely early on, especially in 3 and 4, where you're going to see a lot of that happen. Of course, 1 and 2, that's the tighter of the 2 spots.
Laverne, perhaps he just didn't like to be up there. He surprised himself with that fast qualifying time, but my goodness, he's dropped well back. We got 3 wide a little farther up. This is Guillaume being passed on the outside. My partner said it was going to work. That's Logan taking the path of least resistance as he goes to the top. Watching on is Brian Greenlee. Greenlee now being passed, working on the inside. That is your points leader, Clendy, making a move.
Yeah, Clendy so far up 2 spots from his starting position, and Gary Laverne really falling back through the field. He's down 10 spots to 12th. So yeah, I'm wondering if he just wants to bide his time and work his way through. Here's the thing, we've got 150 laps here, Soup, so pit stops are going to come at a premium in 2 ways. One, I think we're probably going to wait till lap 50, lap 60. That's when the pit window is going to open. And 2, pit entry is not where we normally have it on these tracks. It is in the entry of turn 3. So drivers are going to be coming with a full head of steam as you see Forsyth go to the inside of Stouffer. Stouffer takes a high, wide, and handsome line. He's going to get 4th place, but it's going to be interesting to see how these drivers handle going into the pits hot off the backstretch.
I do appreciate the math at 150 laps, and we believe they can go probably a little over 50. So if you go 50 and 100, it's a 2-stop race.
I don't think anybody can make it on a 1-stop unless we have a barrage of yellows. You see Glendy up there in 10th. Let's go back. I say back to this battle between DJ Clark and Gary Laverne. Laverne able to make his way up into 11th for the time being. Clark going to fall back to 12th, and that's going to give Ryan O'Donohue a chance to close in on that position. But Clark's going to go to the inside heading into turn 1.
Tell us a little bit about DJ's throwback paint scheme. He's a Indy 500 historian. What's he racing out there?
Yeah, let's take a close look at that as he's running the 1982 Gordon Johncock winning paint scheme. As he told me that he's running different paint schemes whenever he can run. Obviously, his IndyCar and sports car commitments will come first, but still an interesting paint scheme out of Clark. And I've got to say, that Johncock paint scheme really fits well on the IR-18s.
It does indeed. He's got to get his priorities straight. I mean, broadcasting real-world racing or coming and being on a VGN broadcast inside the cockpit of an IR-18. It's a 6 of one, half a dozen of another in my book.
Yeah, some of us would love to live the life that he is. I'll go race, and you know what? Instead, I'll go do a real live race. Which, by the way, IndyCar season starts at the end of next month in St. Petersburg, so we'll be seeing less and less of DJ. But nonetheless, for somebody who says, this isn't my strong track, he's 13th, falling off a couple positions from his grid spot. Speaking of falling off, Richie Hearn down 1 spot as Matt Wagner. Now Chris Stouffer goes around the inside of Richie. So Stouffer actually logged the fastest lap not too long ago. 25.239 is the fastest out of Stouffer. He's had a rough couple of races, Soup. I think that he's looking to see if he can get on the top step of the podium tonight.
He tried to fight back with a little hucklebuck, a little up and under, a little dipsy-do. Didn't quite work as he tried to fight back on Chris Stouffer. Stouffer, of course, coming off a second-place finish last week, trying to move up in the points. All this going on behind the man who loves to be out front. You know what? Our VGN contract says we have to put the camera on the leader every so often. Let's do it right now. Matt Taylor. We've raced 11 laps, and he's led them all.
So far, trying to see if he can go wide or wide, but in this series, it is tough. Lewis Hayes with a mechanical black flag. Little puff of smoke, not sure what happened there, but he is into the pits, trying to get whatever he can fixed as Taylor runs a little bit of a medium line through that tight 1 and 2 section. It's not much of an oval as much as it is an egg-shaped racetrack, and it makes things just a little bit fun, almost races like a road course. So I guess we do have our road course portion of the program already started, if you're going by that logic.
Mr. Adams, if we take a look at this replay, my 7th grade geometry teacher, I think he'd call it an ellipse, I believe is what it is, as we look from high above. Oh, that's going to leave a mark. Big boy racing here. You break it, you bought it. No fast repairs. No drop races. Let's go check in this battle with Mike Rigney. Rigney being stalked by Frenchman Alex Guillon, and also in the mixture point leader, Kyle Clenworth. There goes Guillon to the inside. Rigney, always competitive. Let's see how hard he fights. Gives him the wave by, and let's see if he lets the point leader come through as well. 2-time and defending champion Kyle Clenworth now up another spot.
And Glendy's going to try and go up one more spot on Guillaume. through 1 and 2, and indeed he's going to be actually tucked right back in line, I should say, as Klendy trying to go up one more spot. He's up 4, highest climber so far, alongside Chris Stouffer in the early part of this race, as Matt Taylor ticks off lap number 16 of 150. Still a long way to go. We're about a 10th of the way into this race, but either way, everybody getting into a rhythm, settling in. Still got a battle for position between Guillaume, Clenworth, and Rigney, and Greenlee not too far away either. And this is what I like to call thinking man's racing, because it's like, okay, do you balance keeping your tires under you, or do you try and gain as much position as you can? We've got 3 stanzas we've got to worry about here, so no use coming in and burning up all your equipment early on in the race.
We're going to take you away from this battle. I want to go to a driver in 11th position, soon to be 12th. Car number 34, this is Gary Laverne. Remember, he started on the outside of the first row, had a horrendous first lap, lost a ton of position, is trying to settle into a rhythm right now, and he's about to lose that spot to lucky Ryan O'Donoghue. O'Donoghue trying to move in there, cannot get it done. It was interesting about Laverne. He was very fast, maybe not comfortable racing up front, didn't want to work so hard. Here goes O'Donoghue. He gets 1, and he's going to get a second car as well. That is Brian Greenlee, who loses spots to both Laverne and O'Donoghue.
He has Laverne still 9 back from his starting spot, but that was an absolutely fantastic pass by O'Donoghue. Now he's trying to hold off Laverne for that 10th spot through 1 and 2, and Laverne's going to tuck right back in. And that's what's interesting. What I think is going to be interesting here is how do you play your cards through 1 and 2? But this, do you stay low? Do you take it in deep through 2? It's going to make a difference throughout the race. Now, early on, you're not make those moves. Later on, yeah, you will. As you see Spath and Guillaume sitting there in a battle actually up ahead. Klendy closing in on Guillaume, I should say. That is for 7th place. So Klendy with not the normal qualifying we would see out of him, but he's still making his way up through the pack early on.
Now he made a stab at the Frenchman, went down low, and the car just wouldn't go, and then he had to surrender and try it again. I think even this early, as we're only 22 laps in, I think the tires are beginning to have an effect, and going down low is a little harder. Of course, for racing in the daytime, we may drift into twilight. I don't think the lights are going to come on tonight. So tire wear is important. We were talking to a few of the drivers before we went green, and they said the key is to manage the tires so that they run out about the same time that you're out of fuel.
Well, of course, also, that was a little bit of a slide there. I think that was Mitchum who slid there right into the wall. Might have been Galez, but either way, we're watching DJ Clark trying to close in on Soro for 14th position. With these new hybrids, these drivers are still trying to figure out how to work their way around, how to save the tires, because you're adding 200 pounds. Now, you're thinking, Jeremy, for a car that's not a lot. It is for an IndyCar, which already tops out, what, 1,700 pounds?
Well, I think it went about 1,800 if Tony Stewart was in it. But other than that, I think it's about the same. Going underneath. Nice. Klendy makes the pass. Boy, look at fighting back is the fierce Frenchman, Alex Guillaume, fighting everything he can with the 2-time and reigning champion, Kyle Clenworth. But finally, Klendy says, leave me alone. I got places to go. They continue the battle. Both of them in this tight battle may be saving fuel.
Well, that's a good point there, as we're only 26 laps into this race. You see some side-by-side action. There's Greenlee going to let Soro to the inside, but not going to let him have that position. That gives Clark a chance to close in as well and still have this battle between Forsyth and Craig Forsyth, I should say, and Logan Spath. That's for 5th place.
I don't know how hot they're fighting, if it's a battle or a dance. Watch here as Spath gets a good run at it too. He comes down underneath. They'll finish the pass. I think Forsyth will let him have it. Oh, correct me. He's going to fight back. I thought these guys had it all worked out, but no, it is indeed a battle.
still nose to tail coming off of turn number 2. Just watching this, all play out here. Still plenty of time. I think we're halfway through this first fuel stint. I could be wrong, could be right. Gotta punch in my Davey Hamilton fuel calculator to see how long these cars can go on fuel on a green flag run. Of course, you also see back there Alex Guillaume looking to the inside of Clenworth, but still too far away to make something happen. And yeah, Forsyth is looking a little racy. Spath goes to the inside, heading into turn number 3. Gives Spath 5th place for the time being. I don't think Forsyth is going to fight him too much, especially if they're running. Well, I take that back as Forsyth goes high, wide, and handsome off of turn number 4 and gets that position back. So Spath fought for basically nothing at this point.
Oh, he's tried it at least 3 times. It's the shorter way around, but the momentum just isn't there, and I'm not sure if it's going to be doable this late in the run. They come on the back of Richie Hearn, 7-time Real World Indy 500 participant. Nice little battle for 4th, 5th, and 6th. Let's go ahead and take a look at 2nd position as we ride here. I believe Wagner is beginning to close ever slowly on Matt Taylor.
Yeah, that gap is indeed closing up. It's a half second separating 1st and 2nd place, as Wagner now within drafting distance of Taylor. Of course, as we know with this setup, it's easy to catch somebody, not so much to pass them, especially if you are Matt Taylor sitting there. Of course, not too far away. That interested spectator is the one and only Chris Stouffer in 3rd place. He's up 4 spots. So Kyle Glenworth and David Serow, your highest climbers so far this race, with up 5 spots. So this is interesting. This is what I'm talking about by this thinking man's racing. Find a line where you can save fuel, save tires, and still pick up speed. Because a lot of these real world race engineers are saying, okay, you know what, I need you to do all this. Oh, and you got to be fast on the track. And you're sitting there in the car like, yeah, why?
Let's look at Logan Spath now. Worked his way up into 4th. Remember we saw Spath? He was back there watching the battle going on. Well, he got around Forsyth. He now got around Hearn, and he's up into 4th, setting his sights about, 25 car lengths up would be Chris Stouffer.
Spath going to catch up to Stouffer in no time, especially if he's running just a little bit faster, about 10th faster last time by, but Richie Hearn still not going to let Spath have it that easy. But Spath coming up with a head of steam as he saw him get around Forsyth about a couple laps ago, and able to get around Hearn like he was standing still.
Time to go and look at the leaders. We've been talking about Matt Wagner, and little by little, well, I said he was about 20 car lengths back. Now it looks to be about 10. You can see the timing and scoring on your tower there to the left. My guess is when this pit cycle reaches its ending, I would not be surprised to see Matt Wagner in the lead.
I would buy that. Yeah, I think I would definitely buy that, especially since Wagner and Taylor running about the same lap times, although it's kind of like one's trading a faster lap this time, each time by. Let's see what they are as they cross the line. 25.577 Taylor 25.616. So Wagner losing just a little bit of time. We'll see if he has anything in the tank there to kind of save things. I'm trying to see here on the dash. Fuel's at a 10. I'm not sure what he's running numbers fuel-wise, but those tires, they are up to temp, 200s on the front, 210s on the back.
Okay, they are racing fixed setups, but they are not the iRacing default setup. These are what I like to call custom fixed setups. They have some guys that work on something that'll work, good racing. While we're doing this, let's look at the battle here between Guillaume and Mike Rigney. Rigney in a hustle to get there. But even though the racing is a fixed setup, they still have toys that they can play with in the car, the weight jacker, and of course the fuel mix. So you never really know who's really fast and who is just running the fuel at a high mixture. Rigney down low, coming out of two. Oh, I thought he was going to drift up into Guillaume, but he was able to back out. He's going to try it one more time. They go through 3 and 4. Remember, the corners are different here. It's not an oval. As my own Mr. Anderson would tell me, young man, what's the shape? Well, I believe it's an ellipse. I think that's what it's called.
Okay,
It's egg
I can
shaped.
take that. I take that. Which, by the way, Soup, you're talking about weight jackers. It's all fun and games till you play with their weight jacker a little too much. And then you got a little bit of a mess on your hands. So just keep that in mind that you don't want to move that weight jacker too hard or too stiff because it will mess with your setup. We've seen that time and time again in the real world and in live racing. Of course, now you see Siro falling basically this battle for position, I should say, still heating up down the backstretch. Oh, I thought Rigney was going to have a little bit of a touch there with Guillaume as Guillaume goes high, wide, and handsome. Rigney gets the better move off of turn number 4, and they're still neck and neck. That gives O'Donoghue a chance to possibly come into play if these two decide that they're going to tango even longer.
Well, this isn't a battle that is truly meaningful, although I'm certainly the fans of both those guys would argue with me. It does tell us a little bit about what may be going on up front. Because let's go ahead and look at it right now. Wagner is there, and I think whenever he wants, he can take a stab at the leader. Matt Taylor has led so many laps, and you've got to have quite a story of bad luck to have led so many laps but still be sitting 9th in the points.
Yeah, Taylor's just run into the wrong side of lucky. He doesn't have Jimmy Johnson's horseshoe to worry about to try and help him, I should say. But Wagner closing in once again, 0.3, 0.2 of a second. Now we're under yellow.
See if we can find it. Oh, I think it might be Brian. It's not easy being Greenlee. Loops it right in front of Chris Reagan. Reagan does a good job. Maybe we can take 2 looks at it. First, at the view from, there we go. That's Brian spinning it. Can we go on board? Can we replay and look at it from Reagan, who had a good view of it? And you be the driver at home. You decide whether you want to go high or low on this one. Luckily, the car stayed up in the wall. There's inside. Now we're going to ride on board with Reagan, and he gets a good look at it.
I think it was just a replay of Greenlee's.
Yep.
I think, yep, right move. I think he made the right move. Now, here's the thing, too. Something we got to watch out for, especially later on in these runs, Soup. And that's something we could ask with DJ Clark here in a second, but you got to stay off those rumble strips in 1 and 2.
Boy, we are at lap 46. You hopefully wanted to get to 50. I just don't see how anybody can pass now. And I think what this does is set you up for a fuel save race because you're going to really have to stretch it. Pit stops made here at lap 46. You come out, do a couple slow laps under the caution. You can get there, but how hard can you race at the end? Everybody comes in.
I don't know, Simply, you think that's the right time to bring in our friend DJ Clark as he comes down pit road?
Oh, let's let him get in the box and out of the box before we talk to him.
Oh, there's nobody in what? There's nobody in this corner. Let me take a look. But either way, it would have been cool to hear him call his own pit stop. Four tires feel. Oh, come on! Oh, yeah, there's nobody in Discord. Nobody wants to talk to us.
Yeah, that's I never had that problem till I started working with you. Now all of a sudden nobody comes in for an interview. First out of pit lane was the man first down pit lane. Matt Taylor. I'm telling you, that guy will not surrender the lead even under caution. Behind him, Matt Wagner.
Now, Sip, it's kind of surprising because there are no females in the grid, so I would imagine nobody would want to talk to me at that point. But either way, it's Taylor, Wagner, Stouffer, Spath, and Hearn, your top 5 out of pit road. And everybody running high 8s, low 9s for their pit stop. So a great pit stop for everybody.
The man that I find curious right now is sitting in 10th position. It's Gary Laverne. He had a great qualifying where he sat up on the front row, then went nowhere. I wonder if he's just not doing well. Let's call it what it is, sandbagging. I wonder if he's just waiting to race until the racing means something.
You know what, boss man? I do see that Wagner's actually in the chat now. If he's available, let's bring him in. I got I got at least one question for him, as we've seen him up to Matt. It's Jeremy and Soup up in the booth. Perilous time for that yellow right there. Was lap 50 our magic number there for the first stop?
It was going to be 52. I was sitting there saving fuel right behind Mr. Taylor there, and I was letting him walk the dog, and I was sitting there saving fuel right behind him, and now it just became a fuel save race, and I kind of wish you would have gone past that 50 marker. Now we all have to save.
So my guess is we're not going to see you out in front leading many laps.
No, not one bit.
All right. Good luck. Go get him.
All right, man. Thank you very much.
Nice job, Jeremy, to get that interview. We can learn so much. And
Oh, yeah.
we were on it, but indeed, everyone was thinking the same thing. And now it's how fast can you go and get to the end? We go green.
That's going to be key. This is going to be the chess match here, this second stint, as Matt Taylor comes on the lead, gains a little bit on Matt Wagner, but everybody now going to be in that kind of the draft mode. Normally you would see the snake down the back straightaway with everybody kind of breaking each other's draft, but as Wagner said, everybody's going to be saving a little bit of fuel, so going to be interesting to see how lean some of these drivers will be running on their fuel maps.
You got to really appreciate what Matt Taylor is doing, just throwing the whole analytics out the window, and I'm just going to be out front. I don't have to worry about anything happening in front of me. Fuel mileage be darned. I'm just going to race, let him catch me, and well, it's fun to see. Stouffer in third. The man to watch out for is Logan Spath. He has been coming. He is very aggressive, and I would not be surprised if he doesn't go ahead and work on Stouffer, Wagner, and end up in front of Taylor as well to lead some laps. He likes to race.
And you know what? I think Wagner and Stouffer would be none the wiser than just to let Spath go out there and race, because they're thinking, burn your fuel, burn your tires. We're going to do our own thing. But then again, you see Stouffer going to the inside of Wagner. He's not going to make it happen coming off of turn number 2. And really, that's the only battle we're seeing out there on the racetrack, is everybody just biding their time, saving their fuel, and trying to make something happen now that the leader has backed up into this battle for second place. So it's kind of like the steak, where the dog's running after it. When you put the stick on the back, the dog can catch it, but he just can't bite it.
Hey, I'm visualizing that analogy, that metaphor. That's a good one. Hey, let's talk big picture. Your points leader coming in, Kyle Clenworth, he's sitting in 7th. The man who was 5 points behind him, Craig Forsyth, in 5th. I think a Forsyth-Clenworth battle is something we're going to see all season long. I'll be surprised if you ever see these guys too far away from each other on the track.
Taylor's fallen back into 4th place. Last time by, you saw Matt Wagner go around Taylor. Then Stouffer, now Spath. So Taylor falling back into 4th place. I think this is going to be a strategy. Try and save fuel and go as long as you can until that final pit stop. You see the leader right now. You're watching out of the back as he's opened up a half-second gap between he and Chris Stouffer. So I don't know if Wagner was playing coy with us or what, but he's gotten out there and he's now leading laps.
Oh, Wagner, somebody, mom and dad, sister, brother, wife, fiance, somebody go ahead and get in touch with Matt and tell him that he needs to save fuel right now. Matt Taylor, all the slow laps. Let's look at Taylor right now. He's about to be passed by Forsyth. These slow laps now mean fast laps later. So all you soldiers in Soup Clip Sport Army, write down the name of Matt Taylor. drivers that you think are fast and maybe you're not going to be, how about these names? Matt Wagner, Logan Spath.
Me thinks he's going to try and do a Scott Dixon, Matt Taylor that is, as now Richie Hearn closes in on Taylor for 5th place. So in spite of leading all those laps, Taylor down 4 spots to 5th place so far as Hearn tries to get out of the negative territory. He's fallen 3 spots into his grid position here, but he's able to make something happen here in just a little bit. About 1/10 of a second separates your early race leader from Richie Hearn. Clendy not too far away either. He could make some hay while the iron's hot and try and get into the, up 1, maybe 2 spots as Spath, as a Forsyth trying to hold off Taylor, I should say, for position as Taylor now starts to wake up a little bit.
I'm not a farmer, but I believe if you start messing around with hay and a hot iron, you're looking at a fire. I think it's, you make hay when the sun is shining and you strike while the iron is hot. That is what you call, folks, a mixed metaphor.
I've been up since 3:30. I'm sorry.
Gary Laverne, can we look at him? Surely something is wrong with Laverne as he continues to surrender position. I would love an interview right now with Gary to find out what's going on. He just let Ryan O'Donoghue go right around him. Lucky Ryan out there, having a nice run, starting in 13th, racing in 10th.
I wonder if his driving style around here suits older tires than newer tires, because you take a look, he fell back at the start, and he fell back again here going on the race. And by the way, driver to watch out for, Chris Stouffer, made his way around Logan Spath last time by, and now has his sights set on the lead. Matt Wagner, your lead. Of course, Wagner probably going to slow down and save some fuel, but yeah, no, he has not saved any sort of consumables as he holds on to that lead. But Logan Spath knocking on the door second as well.
Matt Taylor now down in 5th. All about fuel right now. And of course, Taylor was leading so many laps, has now decided to give it up, and he's fallen back. Wagner, I guess, happy with the fuel he's getting. He's out in front. Stouffer. Spath settled into 3rd. Interesting as Kyle Clenworth continues just to keep an eye on Craig Forsyth. Forsyth in 4th, Clendy in 7th. It's always scary when the commentators do math, but I believe if the race were to end right now, I think Forsyth would get the championship's point lead back. But one thing I can guarantee you, folks, it's not going to end anytime soon.
No, it's not. And I think that, yeah, it would be a very scant point lead out of Forsyth. But there were a couple laps that I saw Craig kind of brush the wall, have a little bit of fun with it. Thought he was going to the pilot across the street, and nope, the wall held him back in. He once again comes off a 2 and just white walls that wall. So that's going to be something to watch out for. The more he does that, the more that suspension's not going to like it. Although Stouffer and Spath still in a battle for position. Stouffer able to keep that 2nd spot for the time being, but he closes in on Wagner even further. It's a car length separating Wagner from Stouffer, and now basically Stouffer is like going between a rock and a hard place. How am I going to pass? How am I going to keep people behind me? Here comes Spath right under that attenuator of Stouffer around turns 3 and 4, and it seems like the 13 really likes that high line through 3 and 4.
Indeed. Sometimes of the driver, what I like to do is kind of brush off the outside wall. It skinnies up my car a little bit. Oh my goodness, I thought we were going to lose Logan Spath as he was on his way to order a hot dog The racing track is this way. I thought he was going off track there for a minute. Spath now in third. Skinny up the car a little bit so when you get to the end, you can squeeze through for a 3 wide and steal one. Spath is really aggressive.
Yeah, Spath just trying to do all he can to gain position, get up there, up past the second place, and try and battle for the lead. Second, that Spath gets around Stouffer, it's going to be game over for Wagner because he's just going to close in oh so quickly. And Wagner, we know that he said in the interview that, you know, I'd rather save fuel. I think he would have no problem letting anyone who gets up to him pass him for the lead.
We ride on board now, looking at the train ahead. Beautiful St. Louis day. Keep an eye out. You can see the arch. I think it's going. Well, maybe not. I might be lying to you. Look at that Missouri sky pushing down on the racetrack. Makes you want to saddle up the mule team there and get in the wagon and head cross country.
He's got to cross the Mississippi first, which, you know, nowadays, I don't know if I cross the Mississippi by water these days, but tell you what, this is kind of closed in the battle as Spath looks at the inside of Stouffer going around 1 and 2. Of course, you got to really get off the gas and click down a couple. Here comes Spath, though, to the inside. Not going to make anything happen heading in there. I think he's just trying to see what he can do and try and get inside the head of Stouffer. But, Soup, you and I know that Chris Stouffer is one tough customer when it comes to these open wheel series.
Indeed. Of course, this racing is all meaningless right now. It's just, they're all just biding their time, waiting to get to the end. Stouffer surrenders that position. Spath would love to get to the front. In fact, Stouffer gives up 1 and 1 to Forsythe as well. Now, Craig Forsythe is racing 2 races. He's keeping an eye on Matt Wagner, but behind him, he's looking between him and how much cushion he has to Kyle Clenworth. Here comes Matt Taylor. My goodness, it's got to be so against his nature to not be out front. He loves to lead, but he's done the math and realized he needs to save fuel. Now he's on the inside. That is Richie Hearn rolling around the top. There's nowhere he's going to back up, and we're going to let Matt Taylor tuck in behind the train.
Soup, I'm going to say one of my favorite phrases you hear me say on Saturday nights. These boys are fixing to get bent back here. They're getting a little antsy for halfway through the race, as we are literally halfway once we cross the stripe. But Hearn goes to the inside of Forsythe. Forsythe not going to let him have it so far. Hearn's up to 5th right now. He fell back to about 6th, 7th place a little bit earlier on in this stint. But still, everybody getting racy here. And yeah, it's not consequential racing, but this is thinking man's racing. How are you going to get around? How do you save fuel? How do you be fast? These are the things that make Gateway oh so great. And look who goes around the top side. Taylor's going to rip it around the high side.
Yeah, you know, it all looks good. It all looks exciting, but these guys are racing well within themselves. From what I've seen after 2 races, this is not as dangerous as it might be between less experienced drivers. As you can see, Richie Hearn leaving plenty of room for Matt Taylor to roll the top. And now that's Chris Stouffer going slow, rolling around the top there. Great speed on corner exit. Forsythe down low, gives up 1, 2, maybe even 3 spots. It looks scary, it looks exciting, but I hate to break it to you folks. It's as much as a coordinated I don't want to use dance again, but let's say dance as it is racing.
Well, Soup, I'll even go one step further, and it's just as tame as everybody running on 55 just off of 1 and 2. So this is great. Honestly, this is great racing right here because you have drivers who can run whatever line they want, whatever style they want, and still make those passes or even attempt to make those passes. As you see Forsythe trying to look around the outside of Stouffer, he gets that nose out front through 3 and 4, but Stouffer's going to get that advantage. That gives Hearn a chance to look inside 3 wide, and whoa, that was a nice juke out of Hearn.
All right. Contrary to how I just painted that picture, that one took my breath away. I thought we were going to have it. Man, those guys really have the cars going where they want to. Hearn now working a little. We'll get away from this in a minute, but my spidey senses are tingling. Hearn down low going to lose a lot of momentum. Kyle Clenworth now rolling the top.
Glendy making the high line work for him so far. He's going to dip down low and try and get around Stouffer. They're going to dance once again, and Hearn has another chance. Do I go 3 wide or do I stick behind? He decides to stick behind the points leader as he's sitting in 3rd place in points right now. So he knows that no matter what happens, if he keeps Clenworth ahead of him, he's not going to be able to gain in points. Though Forsyth right now, he's got Stouffer between he and Clenworth, so anything can happen. Right? Man, talk about shutting the door. Clendy shut that front door on Hearn right there to try and make a pass.
Yes, not necessary. And I'll tell you, the driver that's sitting back there with the big plate of horseplay, enjoying the meal, is Mike Rigney. While all the nonsense goes up in front of him, oh my goodness, I thought Stouffer and Clendy and Hearn were going to get together. Mike Rigney has closed them down. I don't know if Mike wants any part of those 3.
I tell you, I wouldn't, especially watching how Clenworth, it seems to me, is getting a little too over-aggressive for this middle stint.
I wonder if he sees the clock ticking. Forsyth's only 1 car ahead of him. I know he wants the win, but certainly he's thinking big picture, and we cannot get away from this battle. As they come underneath you, look at that speed. This battle right now between Stouffer, Clenworth, and Hearn. Here comes Hearn again in the black number 4, going down low. Clendy in the second car in line of that set of 3.
And here's the thing, we're only in race 3. We still have a long season to go here in the ISRA sim racing series. So really, making these moves this early, it kind of seems a little desperate. And Clendy, being a 2-time champion, you think that he'd be able to, hold this off. But then again, could it be desperation of trying to get around Stouffer and catching up to Forsyth because he doesn't want to lose that points lead? Because I have a feeling once Forsyth gets back in the points lead, he's going to try and extend it just race after race, especially with the next race weekend coming up.
As fun as that battle is, we got to look at the man who has maybe been the star of the show, Logan Spath. He's now 2 car lengths back, and he made a shot at the lead a while ago, and I wouldn't be surprised if he does it again. Look how close he is. And he's also brought with him Matt Taylor. Taylor couldn't stand it any longer. Soup, I got to get it back up to the front. This running in 3rd just doesn't sit right with me. I hear you, Matt. You're getting there. Matt Wagner up in front. Remember, we talked to him. He said he didn't want to lead any laps. Well, he lied to us.
I'm surprised. He's a driver. Come on. What driver tells you they don't want to lead laps and is telling the truth? Come on. Even I could kind of see a little bit through that. But either way, I'm kind of surprised, with Wagner talking the talk about wanting to save fuel. I'm very surprised that he has not let Spath by, that he's given himself a difficult time. This has given our early race leader, Matt Taylor, a chance to close in as well. Man, a lot of bobbing and weaving between Clendy and Hearn there in the back, but still, this battle for the lead is very tantalizing as you see Spath trying to do all he can to close in on Wagner going into turn 3.
Stouffer, Clenworth, and Hearn deserve their own broadcast. We could stay on them the entire time. Something's going to happen there. They are racing so close, and I give them the benefit of the doubt, but they've taken my breath away a few times now.
I'll tell you what, that's been one heck of a race between them two, and Hearn looks to the inside. I think he's going to try something here in 3, but he's too far away to make it happen as Clendy shuts the door on him, goes to the inside of Stouffer for that 5th spot, and Stouffer, he's just too good on that high line right there. So he's able to muscle his way ahead of Clenworth, and now Richie Hearn tries again. I don't think Hearn's going to try anything yet. He's trying to see how far he can get, as now, once again, Clenworth loses that gap to Stouffer, but here comes Hearn to the inside, finally gets to Clenworth. Does he let Clenworth go around him? He does not, as they're still side by side.
The tires are too old. The inside line cannot finish the pass. Those guys are trying it, but they cannot get it done. I'm telling you, two guys that don't like what they're seeing is Mike Rigney and Alex Guillaume. They race back in 8th and 9th position. They're just watching the horseplay going on in front of them. So we have those three guys that are mixing it up. Meanwhile, Matt Wagner continues to lead with Spath and Taylor saving fuel. Boy, look at the different dynamic between the front three. We're just happy to put in laps, and the guys racing for 5th, 6th, and 7th who are mixing it up.
Yeah, lots of slicing and dicing, argy-bargy, if you almost that argy-bargy line between the two drivers. But either way, I think Hearn's going to fall back just a little bit, let Rigney catch up, as Guillaume just trying to find some sort of line that's going to make his car work. And I bet you everybody's trying to work their way to that lap 100 mark. If you can make it to lap 100, you might be golden for the rest of the race. Heck, I wouldn't even be surprised to see cars pit on lap 104 with as much fuel as some of these drivers have been trying. So we've got another 10 laps or so, though I have a feeling that pit window is going to open. Here comes Spath closing in to the inside of Wagner. Wagner gets that better entry through 1 and 2, but I don't know about you, Soup. I think I saw a little wiggle out of Wagner.
You know, I have a hunch Matt has done the math, and the Matt I'm talking about is Wagner. Maybe the Matt of Taylor has done it as well, and they figured out how hard they can go. They seem to be racing with confidence right now. It really doesn't matter what the order is right now. Watch for it to heat up front. As soon as we get close to that pit window, I'm thinking in another 4. If they can make it to triple digits, I think that's their goal, like my partner just said. Hey, I want to take a second to talk about the driver in 12th. I did my homework. I studied. I worked hard on this. He is Mateus Ezekiel Marcamini. That's a lot of syllables for old Soup, but I worked on it all week. He missed last week, so I had 14 days to get it done. Right now, he's racing his 12th, up 3 spots from where he started. He's got a very quiet David Thoreau chasing him.
Well, Clenworth lost that position to Richie Hearn finally, but this battle for first keeps heating on, and Ezekiel. Okay, I get it. I like that. I'm glad that somebody was able to work on that. I've been too busy with everything else. But Spath, oh man, he's close to getting under that attenuator. Is now Thoreau is in the pit, so the pit window has indeed opened. Ooh, I don't know if Thoreau. Now DJ comes in as well. Ooh, that might be testing it. That's some Scott Dixon level math right there, as they'll go 2 laps down because of the way the pit cycle works here. Guillaume also coming into the pits, but man, you cannot look away from this battle for the lead. I have a feeling that if Wagner goes, Spath is going to go with him.
I think Spath would like the lead. He'd like to be first down pit lane.
Oh,
and
I was
my
wrong.
partner is wrong. Wagner goes in. So one of the Matt bites, the other Matt, Taylor, stays out. And finally, he couldn't get it done on the track, but leading the lap. What do you got? Oh,
well,
no!
Someone spun.
It was Chris Reagan who spun coming into pit lane. That's in pit lane. It's not going to bring out the caution. It is going to slow down Matt Wagner, though. Wagner had to drive around him. As he came in, the car was spun right in front of him, so watch out. Not only is he pitting early, but he had to have worry. Spath is in.
And that was almost what we saw a couple weeks ago, California, where the drivers, they would come hit that pit entry line, and because of the weight of the hybrid system, that back end would swap around. And that's something we mentioned in the pre-race show too, was that pit in is very tricky. Pit out, not so much.
Okay, I want to turn our attention to Matt Wagner. He's the leader of all the cars who have pitted. We want to see how he comes out in relationship to Spath, who was right behind him and pitted a lap later. Wagner in corner number 1 right now. Spath just exiting pit lane. He's out on the track. He's building up momentum. Here comes Wagner. There goes Spath. I think Spath is going to get it revved up. Wagner's not going to get him, and it could be a result of the car he had to go around entering pit lane.
And sometimes those extra tenths of a second in the delta mean positions on the track. So
Taylor is out.
Yeah, Taylor's out, so that's no surprise there. And Taylor will lose that lead to Logan Spath, but he's still going to battle for position. And this is a difference of 1 lap tires. Taylor, look at how he's able to hang tough. He's going to tuck right back in and be the meat in that sandwich between Spath and Wagner.
All right, you wanted to talk about Scott Dixon. How about we give that to Matt Wagner? There is no way that Wagner could lead so many laps, 46, and still be one of the cars that went the farthest on its tank of fuel. Now they're all together. Spath, Taylor, and Wagner. Everybody's made their stop.
Well, Soup, the second slowest pit stop time of this whole field right now is Craig Forsyth with a 10.3. Slowest goes to DJ Clark with a 10.98. So they're packing it full of fuel, those who came in lap 97, 98, or 99. So that's something to watch out for. I don't think that we're going to see too much in the way of drivers having to worry about fuel, especially in this third stint. So I think that they're going to be let loose. And if a caution comes, that's going to help everybody out.
Okay, director, let's put the camera on the driver racing in 7th position right now. That's Mike Rigney. Remember, he was in that watching the battle ahead that involved Stouffer, Hearn, and Clenworth. Well, Clenworth is not with those guys, as Rigney was able to get around him. Clenworth now is a little farther back watching the 3 in front. Guillaume was in that mix as well. He was back there with Rigney. He comes out still. We're looking at the same guys in front of him.
Soup, we also have that battle for the lead heating up between Spath and Taylor. Taylor had it for just a little bit, and he's really closing in. Now, remember, Taylor stayed out a lap longer to get back into second place, lead an extra lap. And I've got to say this, that might be the strategy that wins the race. Here comes Taylor to the inside once again. He gets around Spath, and he's going to open up 3 car lights as we are under yellow.
Oh, it's my driver, Gary Laverne. Coming out of 2, he loops the car. Doesn't hit anything. Just enough to bring out the yellow. And now the question is, were those guys able to race at full song, or did they have to save fuel? Certainly, if you're at the back of these pack here, drivers like DJ Clark, are you listening, my fellow booth mate? You need to come in and top off. Mason Mitchum, come on in. Gary Laverne, you just spun it. Come on in for fuel. Do you think the guys up front are confident? Maybe this yellow flag, these laps under caution, they can race without a worry.
All they need to do really is just trim it out and during this yellow, so they're using next to nothing in fuel. But either way, this is just a godsend, especially for those drivers at the back of the pack. And yeah, they're hearing you as Marcamini, Siro, Mitchum. Does DJ come in? No, he does not. So DJ's going to take track position instead.
DJ Clark never listened to me when we were commentators, and he doesn't listen to me now. He's out there, a professional commentator on national TV. Who did he work his first broadcast ever with? Yours truly. I taught the kid everything he knows.
Well, that's why he's on national TV and I'm not. DJ Clark sitting in 13th, down 2 positions.
I'll get you there, buddy. You just pay attention. I'll get you there.
But either way, we'll see Marcamini, Siro, and Mitchum coming out of the pits. So they are with a tank full of fuel. 8 seconds for all 3 drivers. And we're close to going back under green. Lights still on the safety car. It's interesting to see nobody else come down for a pit stop, but you know, you're so late in the race, you think, okay, do I go for extra fuel or do I just stay out for track position? I think 13 drivers decided they want that track position.
Well, my guess is they had it figured out to go to the distance under green, and this caution only gives them more confidence to race. Let's go ahead and talk big picture for you. Craig Forsyth, second in the points in fourth. Remember, Kyle Clenworth, two-time and defending champion, had a bad pit stop. He lost some spots. He's back there in eighth, so there's quite a cushion. Stouffer, Hearn, and Rigney between him and the man in the points. But it's all been about the front three guys so far. Spath, Taylor, and Wagner. But we really don't know anything. Right now, working lap number 10, this is when we decide who's a contender, who's a pretender, and they should be able to race, well, with reckless abandon.
And they come back to the line soup. It'll be 40 laps to go. So plenty of time to make something happen here. And of course, now we'll see who gets to run full rich or who has to kind of let it trim out just a little bit in order to make it all the way to the end. As Logan Spath brings the field up high through 3 and 4 soup.
You got it, and I still want to give attention back there to Gary Laverne. I still think he might have something. Remember, he qualified so well. All right, we're going to be working lap number 111 as we come across the line, and it is Logan Spath out in front. He's got himself 39 laps between him and his first win of the season. Matt Taylor behind him, the other Matt, Wagner right behind that. Forsyth in fourth, rounding out your top 5, Chris Stouffer. Stouffer has been lurking the whole race. Remember, he has a second place finish, and now this is when he likes to go racing.
Taylor high, wide, and handsome gets that lead back over Logan Spath. Was that a case of Spath letting Taylor have it so he can save something for the end? Because here comes Wagner. He's knocking at the door. Now he goes to the inside of Spath. They're side by side through 3 and 4. Give the advantage to Spath for the time being. Actually, give it to Wagner as he gets a nose out front. But who's loving this? It's Matt Taylor, your leader.
The inside will work maybe right now on fresh rubber as they come up to temperature. After this, it's going to be harder. Forsyth with a run out of 2. He's side by side now with Wagner. They go through 3 and 4. Look at the top side work. Forsyth knows how to get there. Move them up into a podium spot. A wiggle, no worries.
Fast time by, Forsyth ran the fastest lap of the race, 25.154. So indeed, the 99 is saying red gloves rule and see you on the high side as he makes his way up to third, closes in on second place. Forsyth has just a little bit left here for the end of the race.
Mr. Out front, Matt Taylor. Boy, he's picking him up and putting him down. He's got himself a 10-car lead on Spath. Spath has been quick. Forsyth now into third. Who's coming? I think it's Stouffer time.
I'll tell you what, yeah, Stouffer really trying to make the you are still seeing what can happen with. I don't know if he has enough here at the end, but he is closing in on Matt Wagner as everybody's trying to chase down Matt Taylor.
Quickly, I feel a yellow brewing. Let's go back to Rigney in 8th. These guys have been racing like maniacs. Rigney pulls away. Now Guillaume is under attack from Mr. Lucky Ryan O'Donoghue. Do we have another caution? We do indeed. Who brought it out? Oh, Gary Laverne. Oh, he was all about qualifying, not about a race setup.
Well, sometimes you just got to have that. We'll see the replay here. Right now is Laverne. The back ends, I have a feeling, going to swap around again in turn 2. And this time he's not able to save it. Ends up with the meatball flag. And half of the corners of the car are knocked off. So that effectively will end Gary Laverne's race. So we'll see what happens here. I think we've got, yeah, you mentioned we've got one yellow coming. I think we might have another one with as hard as these guys have been racing.
I blame myself for that one. Clearly, Laverne is listening to the broadcast, and I put pressure on him to come through. I was expecting so much out of him, and maybe he was racing above his weight class. Okay, Rigney coming in. This is not fuel. This is fresh rubber. Rigney coming in. Lucky Ryan O'Donoghue coming in. DJ Clark, now he listens to me.
Well, why not come in for some fresh rubber here with, let's see here, I got to do my math, 30 laps to go? I tell you what, DJ's probably going to be a rocket here in just a little bit.
Yeah, it's not so much the laps to go that is important, it's the laps that have went. And right now, Taylor, those guys have been out racing hard. Well, for 17 laps since their pit stop, maybe about 12 of those at pace. So 12 lap difference for those guys behind. Now here's what's interesting though. Every laps they race, they will continue to be 12 lap advantage for those guys who come in now, although the tires will eventually equalize.
It's gonna take to that crossover point that we keep mentioning so much here on the broadcast and everywhere else. But Taylor, Spath, and Forsyth 1, 2, and 3. We saw Forsyth run the fastest lap of the race about a lap or two after that last restart. He's got a fast car under him.
Indeed. So you're asking me, Soup, we see the tower, but who actually do we need to watch? Director, do we have that special pit stop graphic that shows it with the lines and everything? I don't know if we have that available for an oval. It is my favorite graphic, so we're going to put this up. Now, what you want to do, look down. Forget those guys on top with those bars. The first one you want to see there, you want to see Galles is in there. DJ Clark also made a pit stop recently, so watch out for DJ Clark and Rigney. Those guys to watch out for.
Be interesting to see how they run those tires and get everything up to speed quickly. The lights are out on the safety car. Really, the only change that we have in the top part of the order is Craig Forsyth up to third. Highest climber so far is David Serow, 8 spots up right now in 10th place.
In 12th, Clark in 13th. We'll watch them work their way through the field. My goodness, if it means anything at all, they got plenty of time to do it. We have 30 laps to go racing. Plenty of times to get there, and you know they have enough fuel now. Honestly, everybody has enough fuel now with all these caution lights. All right, the perfectly mesmerizing Josie Kirkland brings the pit car down into pit lane, turns it over to Matt Taylor. I've led 63 laps. Let's make it 64, says Matt Taylor. He gets a big jump. Spath has been fast. He races in second. Forsyth, remember, was able to get around Wagner. He now races in third. Dun, 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 dun. Wagner back in fourth with Stouffer in fifth.
Richie Hearn working all over the back of Stouffer as well. Here comes Forsyth looking to the inside of Spath. Not going to make it happen. We're just starting, of course, this next restart as everybody single file for the most part. And the top 5 are separated just a little bit. You've got a 4-car train for second place, though, as Stouffer going to run that high line once again, but Wagner going to shut the door on him and kind of stymie any sort of progress.
Taylor just having it his own way. You would think if Spath could run with him, he would run with them right now. Forsyth in third.
Richie Hearn with the fastest lap of the race, 25:038, as he sits there in 6th place. And now he's starting to catch up. I think he has caught up. Yeah, he has caught up to this battle for second place. Clenworth falling back just a little bit there in 7th place. But either way, here comes Stouffer to the inside of Wagner for 4th. That's going to give Hearn a chance to close in as well and gives Forsyth and Spath a chance to open up a little bit of a gap through 3 and 4. Now Hearn goes high, wide, and handsome over Stouffer, but still not going to make it happen just yet as Hearn hits the skids just a little bit, gets behind Wagner, so Hearn's now moving up to 5th place for the time being.
So with Foresight in third, come on, Soup, get it out. He's got to be happy with the battling going on behind him with Wagner and Hearn and Stouffer, except for one thing. It's allowing Clenworth to run those guys down. And if Clenworth gets into that battle, he can get to the front of it, and then all of a sudden, Foresight's cushion is gone.
And that's not what Forsyth really wants. So we've got a replay from what I believe is Mason Mitchum's crash, as he was the newest driver to get a meatball flag. Let's see what happens. Goes, oh, he runs over the back of Clark, and that's not something you want to do. You don't want to become FAA's newest problem, but unfortunately, that's going to be day over for Mason Mitchum, and hopefully Clark doesn't have any kind of damage on that right rear.
You know, Mitchum came in for tires, but honestly, fresh tires don't matter when your car is airborne. So DJ Clark, one of those drivers who took tires, he's back in 14th. He was not able to pick up any spots. The guy we thought might be good was going to be Mike Rigney. He's gone nowhere. Tires be darned. But we stay under green. Here's what I want to talk about. Let's look at Kyle Clenworth, your point leader. He is in 7th. He just doesn't seem to be feeling it tonight like he would. I keep waiting for him to make his move. If he was going to make it, now's the time. Although he might be waiting for the music, which will play at lap 151. So make sure you get to the fridge, get yourself your snap, because you don't want to miss boogie time. Matt Taylor, big lead.
Yeah, Taylor almost a second lead, and everybody kind of stringing out, though. Still got a close battle for 4th place between Wagner and Hearn. They've been tooth and nail almost this whole stint, as Wagner's going to go high, Hearn's going to try the low line, and Soup, I think we're at that crossover point where the tires in the low line are going to start to fall apart compared to the tires in the high line.
Right, and I do listen to myself. Did I say lap 151? Well, if we do that, people will be driving home. It's 141 tonight. It's the magic time.
Darn. I did. Hey. I just let it go.
Kyle Kenworth, a little talking between these guys. Shush! I'm commentating here. Jeez. Kyle Kenworth has worked his way up into lap 7. Partner, half the fun of being my buddy in the booth is correcting me when I say something wrong.
Oh, I know.
Alex Guillon having a nice run in 8th. Go ahead.
There's just some things you got to just let go, as once again, Hearn goes to the bottom. And I just think right now, that bottom line, like you said, Soup, it's coming to that point where it's falling apart, and Stouffer shows that way as he goes up to 5th. He's going to go high on Wagner this time and try and do what Hearn could not do. And of course, they all fall in line. Well, Hearn's old nemesis Clenworth now is right there, right by that attenuator.
How do you win a championship? Well, when you don't have a winning car, you want to get the best results you can. And that's what Kyle Clenworth is doing right now. He's not able to race with any of the guys up front unless he's really sandbagging and fooling old Soup right here. But he does have 3 cars in front of him. Hearn, Stouffer, and Wagner that he might be able to get around. Hearn going down low. I'll tell you, these guys may not win, but when it comes to the fun quotient, oh, Richie Stouffer's going to drift up. Oh, nice catch from the 4. I thought he was on his way into Stouffer land.
Oh, he's close to getting into Stouffer land, but still, you do see Stouffer trying to hold off Hearn there for that 5th spot. And of course, the only person who really likes that is Wagner. Now, Clenworth gets around Hearn for the time being. He's going to try and go around the inside of Stouffer as well. He's not going to get the 2-for-1 special. He's going to lose that spot again to Hearn.
Oh, it looks so tempting to dive down low, but it just doesn't work, especially with 35 laps on your tires. You just can't get it done. The preferred line is the top side.
And high, wide, and handsome line, that is going to be the line. So now drivers are going to be using that as sort of a defense. We got about 15 laps to go as Hearn closes in on Stouffer once again. He's going to try low, but not going to be able to make it happen, as Stouffer able to just use that high line even better this time by. Glenworth has fallen back about 3-4 car lengths, to say the least, but Stouffer doing all he can to hold off Hearn.
Quickly, director, can you follow me to the driver currently racing in 9th position? Race after race, this guy does not get the attention he needs. Hugo Gallas, very consistent. He's doing it again. He's having a 9th place run. He deserves more love from VGN than he gets. We see you, buddy. Got yourself another top 10, although Rigney has fresher rubber, and he's about to get you. Mike on the hunt. Look at the difference now. Let's stay on this battle. Look what new rubber can do. Well, Mike, you let me down. You couldn't get it done. New rubber, old rubber didn't work.
I think, Rigney is now getting to that point, that crossover, where you can catch up to somebody, but you just cannot stay down low and make the pass. As they work their way down the back straightaway, here comes Richie Hearn once again around the inside of Stouffer, and Hearn trying to just try, and I mean try, to make something happen. But at this point with Richie, it's kind of like the definition of insanity.
Yeah, Stouffer out there racing like synthetic lawn. He's just covering the outside, and he knows that nothing's going to happen. Hearn tries to go down low. That's not going to work. Clenworth is out of stuff. He's got nothing for these guys. Racing in 7th position. Craig Forsythe, if you're listening to the broadcast, you don't need to win, baby. Things go the way they are, and you'll lead St. Louis with the points.
Yeah, so Forsythe will be saying, meet me in St. Louis all day long if he does lead at the points lead, if everything stays the way they are. And now that battle between Stouffer and Hearn has closed off just a little bit. Maybe we'll see if Hearn can use that high line at some point.
As they come around, if you're thinking about winning, get the mirror ball spinning. Rip the groove. Make your move. Put on your dancing shoes. Get out on the floor and show us some more. Because you know what? It's time. Boogie. Boom. Hit the post like a pro. You got room for me in the Chicago News there on the, I can do weather. I can hit the post. Come on, baby. Find a spot for me, partner.
They don't use me on Chicago News as much as they used to, but it is what it is. Hey, you know what? Where news doesn't use me, that's where racing does. At least I've got that going for me, which is nice. All right, watching this battle for 9th place between Rigney and, Gallas and Rigney there. Yeah, sorry. Just looked back wrong, but I'll tell you what, Rigney's losing those tires. So Hugo looking pretty good to get your 3rd straight 9th in a row for the time being. We'll see if Rigney can keep that car planted down low.
Don't know if we're gonna get the photo finish that we got the first 2 times, but right now Mike Taylor, after all those laps out front, we talked about it in the opening, not having anything to show for it. We're looking at 3 races, 3 different winner. If Taylor can bring it home, he comes across working lap number 145, just a handful to go. But, he's been racing fast. Does he have enough fuel?
That's the big question. Looking at the lap times, they are close to the best lap times. So my guess is yes. I can't see these guys running low on fuel and still ripping the lap times that they have so far. As you see Glenworth holding off Stouffer. Stouffer just falling off like a rock. I think those Firestones are starting to go away on him.
You know, my mom used to call me when I was playing outside. She'd say, "Little Soupy, come in, because it's Stouffer time." Well, I tell you right now, Stouffer, like my mom's meal, has us cooked. He is dropping.
If he falls back anymore, he's going to end up in the clutches of this battle between Gallas and Rigney. He's got to have Guillaume get around him, but Guillaume about a second back at this point. We see how close Rigney is to the back of Galaz as they see, man, it's just like one car going into turn one as you saw it there. But Rigney just biding his time, waiting for that opportune moment to make that pass to get one higher in the top 10.
If you listen closely, you can hear the prayers coming out of car number 8 from the mouth of Matt Taylor, praying that we stay under green. He does not want a caution right now. This race is his. He works his way through corner 3, out of corner number 4, coming across, getting lap 149, 8 corners between him and the first win of the season. Remember, no green-white checkered in an Indy car. If the caution were to come out, it'd all be him.
Of course, that's something you and I mentioned in the grid, is how Taylor has led almost a bunch of laps, and we see this battle between Hearn and Wagner once again as they find one another for a higher spot up into the top 5. White flag is out.
Matt Taylor, today, he's been out for 94 laps. It'll be 95 when it's done. Logan Spath doing everything he can to get there, but unless Godzilla were to strike and step on corner 4, this race is all going to belong to Matt Taylor. Spath gets second. Forsythe, second in the points, gets third. Wagner and Hearn, fourth and fifth. Forsythe gets third with Kyle Clenworth buried by his standards in sixth. Woo! The racing is over. Our broadcast is not. We'll take a short break. We'll come back, run down the entire order, talk to some of the drivers before we put a lock on the gate. Who you watching? Your choice for Sim Race Broadcasting, the Virtual Grip, pause for effect, network.
Spokane Valley meets Sim Motion, your local home for high-performance sim racing gear. Budget setups from $300. Visit us in Spokane Valley.
Like a hostage under duress, I'm forced to read from Worldwide Technology Raceway. But as I break the chains of bondage and free air fills my lungs, I shout with joy Gateway Motorsports Park and VGN's live as it happens third round coverage of the ISRA Sim Gaming Expo Open Wheeled Series. Boy, that's a mouthful. Season 3. The results are in. Let's give them to you right now. He started on the pole. He led 96 of the 150 laps, and he gets his first win of the season. The he I'm referring to is Matt Taylor. The star of the show, though, tonight, and a name to watch, is Logan Spath. He was exciting coming home in second. We believe your new points leader is Craig Forsyth as he gets that final podium spot. Rounding out your top 5, Matt Wagner and Richie Hearn, who continues to race consistently. Look for him to remain in third in the points. Your points leader just didn't have it tonight. Kyle Clenworth goes from 12th, cuts it in half to 6th, but not a big points night for him. Chris Stouffer faded at the end. A quiet run from the Frenchman. Alex Guillaume in 8th. Hugo Gallas equally quiet in 9th. And Mike Rigney made that late stop for rubber. Really didn't help him much. He rounds out the top 10. Partner?
As you take a look at 11th, it's David Thoreau, Ryan O'Donohue in 12th, Matthias Marcomini in 13th, DJ Clark, last car running, and last car lead lap in 14th. Then out of the race with crashes or some sort of issues, Mason Mitchum, Gary Laverne, Chris Reagan, Brian Greenlee, and Lewis Hayes.
Okay, let's go ahead and see if we can get in our race winner, Matt Taylor. Let me know when he's in the booth and I can start. He's there now. Okay, Matt, it's soup up in the booth. You got a copy?
I do.
Let me tell you something. You got to have a pretty full bag of bad luck to come into race number 3, having led more than 50% of the laps and find yourself 9th in the points. Well, you were out front a lot again tonight, and you got the win that really was yours the whole race.
Yeah. It's been unlucky, and tonight I sort of put myself in a bad spot. I knew we were on a fuel save kind of from the beginning, so I was okay out front there, but that caution was going to force an even longer one.
Yeah.
So when we started that second stint, I just kind of left it in map 5 and sort of let those guys go before realizing that, oh no, now I'm buried, and it is much harder to make a pass here than I thought it was going to be.
Indeed. In fact, I was a little bit worried for you because we saw guys, and tell me if I'm got this right, take it down to the inside line, which was really inviting, but it's just you couldn't get the drive off to finish it.
Yeah, it's if you could have made a really deep run into there because the outside stacks up, you're really hoping to be side by side with somebody next to you, and then you're a little bit at the mercy of the cars in front. If they're fighting side by side, then you've got a draft to work with. But if they're all lined up, you're just going to get freight trained by, and if there's somebody behind you, they're going to fill that gap really easily. So eh, you're kind of guessing and hope the guys around you go for that, and then positioning yourself correct.
Well, you made it interesting. You were clearly the dominant car, but you fell back. You had to earn it to get back out there. Congratulations. It was a fun win to watch. We'll see you down the road.
Appreciate it. Thanks, guys.
Matt Taylor picks up his first win of the season and a name, if he can keep the bad lucks away, a name to think when you're talking about the championship. Partner, who you got?
Yeah, I think so. As we have Logan Spath joining us. And Logan, it seemed like early on in the runs, your car was really, really fast. But once we got to about 20 laps into a stint, it seemed to fall off. But either way, second place. Fantastic run out of you today.
Yeah, honestly, the car really struggled for me, at least. Everyone else kind of almost blitzed me, but at the start of start of the restarts. But yeah, the car really suited me, I guess, today. I felt like I'd get the speed out of there, and Gateway's always awesome to drive. I think it's in the IndyCar, it's up there for me as one of the best short ovals. And I mean, yeah, no catching Matt. I don't think I made a mistake, and he's just. I mean, Matt's always been fantastic in the leagues that I've done with him. So, at least glad to be able to keep toe to toe with him a little bit.
Whoops, whoops. My partner's breaking up. Logan, I'll take
spots.
this one as he broke up a little bit for you. Um, the yellow caution flags at the end had to make it a little more confident you could race a little harder.
Yeah, I at that point, thankfully, like tires, everyone's going to be stuck on the same tire, so you don't have to worry too much about how they're wearing. Wear wasn't too bad here, and at least getting the field back together, I at least hoped I would have a better chance at Matt. I was a little terrified. I was really bad on cold tires, so I was a little worried about losing some spots. But yeah, I mean, a late yellow is always awesome, even if you're in the car and it goes wrong. It's just fun to get that chance to bat it with everyone.
Get you out of here on this one. We're running late. How are you on road courses? Road America, can we look for you up front, or are you happy just to finish?
I'll have to see how everyone else is. I definitely prefer road courses. I know for sure Matt and some of the other guys are always going to be quick, but I definitely prefer road courses. Love Road America, so hoping to at least put on a good race just like tonight.
That's good. You think you're good, but you're only good as the guys around you. All right. Congratulations, man. We'll see you down the road.
All right, thank you guys. Hey, thanks for the broadcast tonight, guys. Thank you.
That was a fun answer. Logan's run was very good tonight as he picks up a second place finish. Partner, are you back? You want to try to talk to Craig Forsyth?
Let's try to talk to Craig Forsyth. As it turns out, you got to feed the gerbils to keep them running. But Craig, I believe if we're doing our math, I've counted on my fingers and toes that this run gives you the points lead.
Sweet, I will take it. Beggars can't be choosers. I'll take it while it lasts. Absolutely.
I was going to say, well, we'll keep this short as well. Third place, a great run. And by the way, next race after a week off, it's Road America.
I think that'll be the first race I won't be making. I'll be gone in 2 weeks, but it's unfortunate. Is what it is. But I said I'm just here this season to steal points away from other people.
That's a key, Soup, right there. See, if you can't be the main character, be the protagonist.
You got it. What a good answer. All right, Craig, nice run. We'll see you when you get back. All right, that's going to do it for us, but don't leave. My partner's going to wrap up the show in a professional fashion.
Well, as professional as I can be, because we've got plenty of these races here on VGN. In fact, the next one is tomorrow at Langley Speedway. It's a Skidder Creek Modified Series. I'm off for Five Flags. Unfortunately, Soup, you're going to be in for me on Friday night with the Steelcraft Structures Super Late Model Series. I'm going to warn you, the same guy who's up front for the Late Model Series is going to be up front for the Super Late Model Series. Don't forget, log on to virtualgrip.net to find out the full schedule of events. We'll see you 2 weeks from the National Park of Speed, Road America. Alongside my partner, Bill Soupson and Lowell Jewell back at the booth, my name is Jeremy Scott. Don't forget to keep it between the ditches, keep it pointed forward, and always keep it greasy side down. We'll see you next time on the Virtual Grip Network.